to have it recorded, and then we're also going to go live here. So give me just a minute to get this going. Page, okay. Been a while since I've done the live streams, going live to pages and stuff. We were live streaming a lot during COVID and stuff. All right, just one more minute and we'll have our last little setting here and we'll get going.
All right.
All right. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining in. As you saw in the email and the invite, today we're going to be talking about creating images for your WordPress website using AI, artificial intelligence, which I'm not sure how much you guys have played around with AI. I know probably everybody by now has heard of like ChatGPT and stuff like that for more of the creating copy and text and asking all kinds of questions. I mean, it's pretty crazy. It'll even ChatGPT, you can go to it with certain coding issues and things that you need to create in WordPress. And it'll kind of blow your mind, some of the stuff it's able to do. I do know from, things that we've seen from Nick Roach at Elegant Themes that they're planning on implementing some AI within Divi. And Nick is actually with their Divi 5.0, they're submitting their API and the knowledge base for that to ChatGPT. So that's all going to start learning the Divi API really well, which is going to be kind of crazy. So we'll see how everything plays out. So, but in this particular live stream, we're going to be talking about images, and then I'm going to show you a little bit within ChatGPT how to create the prompts for those images. But for now, we're not really going to talk about the text aspect and using it for writing copy on your sites or anything like that. We're going to show you, actually, I don't know if any of you've probably may have seen some of our emails coming out, product announcements. We at WP Zone have created a AI image plugin, which is AI Image Lab, and Jonathan is the brains and mastermind behind that. And it's something that we're really excited about and very proud of. And we think it can be extremely useful. So just to let people know, we did have a few responses to our email that we sent out about this webinar. Some people, seem to think that, AI and people like us are out there to replace graphic designers and photographers and things like that. And that's not the case. To us, this is just another tool in your arsenal for web design, web development. For us, we kind of look at it as an alternative to stock images. We still do employ our own in-house designers and illustrators, and we create all of our own custom featured images for blog posts and stuff like that. So we're not out there using our AI Image Lab for stuff like that. We still very much value and appreciate what designers and photographers do, but the AI revolution is here, and we're nerds and we get excited about this kind of stuff. So, okay, well, I guess we'll go ahead and get going here. So, kind of the use cases that we're going to use, you're creating a website and you need, images, maybe some images on your homepage, or you're writing blog posts and you need to create a featured image for your blog posts. It's great that some companies and businesses can afford to pay all this money for stock photography and things like that. But it's also nice having this in your back pocket. Maybe you're creating a site for a client and you just need some good looking filler images until they get you their own content, instead of using the real bland filler images and turning that over to your client. This can help a site pop a little bit more. So, okay. Well, what we're going to do is we do have a dev site set up, and Jonathan is going to kind of walk us through at first the process of prompts, and he's also going to show how you can edit not only a AI generated image, but you can use AI to edit existing images as well. So if you had like a photograph or an existing image, you could actually use our plugin to edit that as well. So Jonathan, do you want to go ahead and get started with the screen sharing? But before we start with that, does anybody have any questions they want to drop into chat or chime in over your microphone even? Yes, Dave.
First off, I would like to thank both you and Jonathan for putting this webinar together. Definitely AI is the way to go, and there are so much nuances we can learn. So it's a wonderful learning process. So hats off to you guys, and thank you very much for bringing this up. And since Divi is also going to roll out soon, I'm all excited and thrilled. Thank you.
Yes. Well, thank you for joining. Yeah, we're excited as well. So, all right, well, let's go ahead and get to screen sharing here, Jonathan.
All right, let me get this going here. So let me know, Cory, do you see if my dev site's up now?
Yeah, it's up. First, Jonathan, real quick, do you want to bring up the plugin page on WP Zone real quick, and we'll just kind of. So yeah, so the plugin, it's free, and we have it available on our website at wpzone.co, and it's also in the WordPress repository. So it's a free plugin. Any of you guys can go download it right now, install it on your site. It's not going to cost you anything. You just have to create a free account with WP Zone so that the plugin can talk to our servers, which are working to generate these images. So.
Yeah, so on this site here, we've already got established that connection between a WP Zone account and the plugin in the admin area. So it's basically already ready to use. We've completed those setup steps. So this is a blank Divi page that I pulled up here, and I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate the plugin in Divi. It does work in a variety of other page builders as well as in the media library directly. If you don't have a page builder, you can generate images straight in the media library as well. So I'm going to pop a new row in here and grab a new image module, and it does work with pretty much any core Divi module that supports images, including, for example, for background images and that sort of thing, and then also many, if not most, third-party modules, Divi modules as well. So I'm just going to click the image here, and that brings up my image selection window. And because I've got the AI Image Lab plugin set up here, I have a new tab up here, Generate Image with AI. So this is an alternate way to get an image into my content. So clicking that brings up the AI Image Lab interface. So I'm just going to go over some basics here for starters. So this prompt box here, that's where you enter one or more descriptive phrases or even just words that describe the image you're trying to create. So I'm just going to get started right off with a quick demonstration. So I'm going to enter 3 words. I'm going to go with lighthouse, ocean, and storm. And then you'll see here on the right side, there's also an option for priority, which basically lets me change, the weight of an individual word or phrase, so that if I want one of them to carry more weight with the AI when it's generating the image, I can click the plus button there, and it'll make that one more important and stand out more. I'm just going to leave them all at the default for this demonstration. So then I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to leave the rest of the settings at their default and just click the generate button here. And then it does take.
I was going to say, we do have, if you do just need, like it says, need inspiration, some of those prompts that are existing that you can use, just kind of, see what the plugin does and stuff. So we try to make the user interface, beginner friendly and as common sense as possible for you.
Yeah, so by default, I'll show you some of the style settings in a minute, but by default, it's set to generate photographic style images. So you're going to get some generated photos here on the right side once it's done, which usually takes, our goal is to have images generated within 30 seconds. of you clicking the generate button. Sometimes it can take a bit more. Oftentimes, I think it's less than that. So you'll get 6 images to choose from for starters. And then in some cases, especially for more complex prompts or prompts that the AI can struggle with, which is things like people and faces, those things can sometimes be distorted by the AI. You may want to generate another set of images before you find the right image you want to use. So you can just click the generate button again to get 6 more. But by default, we've chosen 6 as the number of choices to give you, so that hopefully one of those is good in your first generation process. So just for the demo, I'm going to pick this image here. If I click it, it brings it up in a larger preview. And right now, I'm just going to go ahead and select this image as the one I want to use. So I've also got the option to edit the image, which Cory alluded to, and I'll demonstrate in a bit. But if I just click get this image, and I wait a minute, then it actually just drops it into the media library section here. It's pre-selected. All I have to do now, if I want to use this image, is click upload down here, and it's dropped it into my image module ready to use. So that's the very basic generation process without tweaking much for settings. And I'm just going to carry along and just do that again with the same prompt. I'm just going to re-enter my prompt here. So I'll just go through some of the options we have here as well. So by default, we're optimizing it for generation speed, but it may not be quite as good quality as the second option, which is a slower speed, higher quality option. So that will take longer, typically longer than those 30 seconds that we aim for, but it may produce a better result. So it's something you could experiment with. And then you've got options to change the aspect ratio of the image. So I'm just going to change this to a landscape image instead of the square, which is the default. I can also go right on to custom size, which lets me enter my own width and height, but I'll go with the 16:9 landscape. And then I've got this style toggle here, which lets me pick and specify the kind of image I'm looking for. So like I mentioned earlier, by default, it's generating photos, but it lets you do paintings, illustrations, that sort of thing as well. So I'm going to change it to illustration, and then there's various other options depending on which style you've selected. So if I go to painting, for example, I can select a bunch of different style and medium options. Illustration has a few style options as well. So I'm just going to leave it set to illustration, and then there's even more fine-tuning options here. For example, I can choose a kind of the color of the image that I want to have from the color drop down, and there's different options to base it on certain image websites that have kind of distinct styles, so I can pick that as well. But I'm just going to go with changing it to illustration, and I'm going to run that prompt again. So now, it's just generating the same thing, but with the 16:9 aspect ratio, and then instead of being photographic, it's doing it in illustration style. So if I want to use this one, I can click get this image again, and it'll drop it right in here. And just like I demonstrated before, if I click the upload button, it'll drop it into that module, the image module in this case, or whatever module I'm using.
And Dave was asking about the image, the file type that these are generated, and these are JPEGs.
That's right. They come out as JPEG, yeah. So now I'm going to do a bit more of a risky prompt. Like I mentioned, it's really good at landscapes typically, but when it comes to generating pictures of people, pictures of faces, and especially pictures with multiple people in them, that's where you start getting some distortion just because of the limitations of the AI typically. But I'm going to go ahead and try a prompt that I've used for testing, which is businessman at a desk. Just one phrase there. And I'm going to switch it back to a photo. Oh, it is by default, so that's good. It's gone back. And just hit generate. So I have no idea what's going to come up here because every time you hit generate, it's generating a random set of images. So we'll have to see what we get.
So to clarify, you know, when you do see these tools, you know, typically they're tied in off of a larger like AI engine. In this case, it's Stable Diffusion. Jonathan, you can talk a little bit more about that when we get to it, kind of the engine, the driving force and behind it. But yeah, basically what we've done is, you know, tapped into Stable Diffusion, and that's running as like the larger engine kind of behind the tech in this particular plugin.
Yeah, so I've got some images here, and I'm just going to use, for the sake of demonstrating the image editing and kind of how to improve images that have issues coming out of the AI. I'm just going to use this one here as an example. So you can see there's some issues with the eyes, the positioning of the head and all that. So I'm going to go ahead and click the edit button, which will load this image into the AI Image Lab editor here on the left side. And so this, all this basically lets you do is select areas of the image you want to generate. So it's going to use the overall image as the basis for the output image, but then you can tell it specifically that you want certain areas of the image to be regenerated. So you have some different options and hopefully some better options in the case of an image that's distorted. So I'm just going to select the head there. Actually, I want to go a bit bigger so it has a bit more room to work. And then here there's also a text prompt option. By default, when you're pulling in an image from a previous AI generation, it will use the prompt for that original image. But you could use this to alter the image, which I'll demonstrate in a bit, or to add more detail, or to kind of specify what you're looking for. So if I click generate, it's going to take about the same time as for a full image usually. So you'll see this as these are using the same image. The areas of the image that I haven't selected are unaltered, but it's giving me a few different options for the head and the face, which is the area I selected, and which obviously was a bit distorted coming out originally. So they're not all great, but there's definitely more options to use here. So I could select this one now. I could hit get this image, and it'll drop into my media library, or I could have actually edited that image further. So I could have loaded this image into the editor and then another edit step. Say if I wanted to improve the look of the hands, which I think are also a bit distorted, I could have repeated that edit process on this edited image if I wanted to. It's also worth noting that the editor that I was showing earlier, you can select more than one area of the image. You may find it's best to focus on one area at a time, but it is possible to make multiple selections if you wanted to.
Yeah, I did notice, like, you know, his hands look a little funny in that. You know, this is kind of AI in general right now. It does have a very hard time with like people and certain things. They don't all turn out bad, but you do get the weird stuff, like a guy with a smaller arm growing out of his other arm and things like that, which are kind of funny to look at from time to time. Jonathan, we do have a question from Andrea. She's wondering how should we credit the image that's produced?
Yeah, actually, there's no credit requirements for the images at this point. The images that are produced are there's no limitations on how you can use them, and there are some rules about what you can and can't use the product for in terms of the types of images you can generate. And there's details on that if you install a plugin. There's information on the terms of use within the plugin. But as long as you stay within those boundaries, there's no limitations as to what you can do with the output images.
And those boundaries, for clarification, Jonathan, those are set from Stable Diffusion, or?
It's a combination of Stable Diffusion, which is the model that's being used, and then also some stipulations that we've added as well.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. So one more thing I wanted to demonstrate on this webinar here is editing an existing image. So far we've been working with images that have been generated by the AI. But one of the really cool features of AI Image Lab is editing images that have already been taken, like actual photographs or images that have been generated and put in your media library. So I'm going to switch over to the media library for that. And I've dropped this photo here, which is a photo I took many years ago with an actual camera, no AI involved at all. And I'm going to click this button here, Edit an AI Image Lab, which is going to take this image and drop it into the Edit Image section that we were seeing in this UI in Divi earlier. And now we're in the media library. It looks very similar. And I've dropped an existing image into the editor. And I'm going to select just an area of the image here. And then down here we've got the prompt, which is empty because this is not an AI image, AI generated image. It's optional. Even with a non-AI image, you could leave the prompt empty, and basically you'll leave it up to the imagination, so to speak, of the AI as to what it's going to put in to the selected area. But I'm just going to change this a bit, but I'm going to ask it basically to add something to this area. So I'm just going to type in the word sailboat, and I'm going to hit generate. And so now it's basically using that prompt I've entered and the photo that I provided. It's going to combine those two, and it's going to alter the region I've selected according to what I've entered in the prompt box. In this case, because I've entered something that's not in the image, it's going to be adding it to the image. So you'll see this is the original image with an AI generated component in the area that I selected. So we've got a bunch of options. As usual, we have 6 options to choose from, and we could run this again and we get 6 more different options. So you can also use this to remove features of images. There's all kinds of things you can specify in the prompt here to alter your photos, which is really cool. So I think that's pretty much, those are the main things I wanted to demonstrate. But if there's any questions, I can definitely go over that or demonstrate other aspects of it as well.
Yeah, and then I'll jump in here. We'll give everybody a minute to see if they have any questions, and then I'll talk about prompts and show how to use ChatGPT to help you generate some of these image prompts. All right. Before we move forward, does anybody have any questions for Jonathan or myself?
David, I have one.
Dave, yes.
Okay, the file format that it is generating is JPEG, as I heard. Once it generates a JPEG, can we extract the image, convert it as a WebP, optimize it, and bring it back? Is that doable at all?
At this point, the plugin doesn't support output in WebP, so you'd have to use a plugin that can convert your JPEG images to WebP, because it's currently delivering them in JPEG exclusively.
Yeah, I understand. The thing is, once I bring it in, can I export from my repository in Divi, do the conversion outside?
Yeah, that's right. Once you've brought it in, it acts like any other image. So you can download it, you can edit it outside, you can convert it outside of Divi. That's right.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, so some of those tools like WPMU, Smush, and some of the image optimization plugins do have that built in to where they can convert JPEGs to WebP formats and stuff. So yeah, I mean, you'd have these in your WordPress library and can basically follow the same process as you would of a image that you just uploaded, from your desktop or whatever.
Thank you.
All right. So Jonathan, if you want to stop sharing, I'll kind of just talk real quick about prompting. So you can see there that, Jonathan just used some real quick basic prompts. And that really is the trick to AI image generation at this point, is like knowing how to input these prompts and different words and terms to use if you're looking for like real specified, like, specific styles and things. And it's also, it's also just a good tool to use. What I'm going to show you just for kind of general prompts. It'll give you just kind of more like in-depth images and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do, let me share my screen. I've got a bunch of different windows open here, so bear with me while I kind of remember what I did here. Okay, so I'm sure you're all aware of ChatGPT, and I know a lot of people have come into ChatGPT and played around with it. And it's really cool. I mean, it does all kinds of useful things, from rewriting copy. I know for us internally, sometimes we'll have like our products in multiple different locations. We'll have them on our website. We'll have them on elegant themes. Sometimes you have writer's block when you're writing product copy and things like that. So I've even used ChatGPT, which I love writing, and I still write my own stuff. But sometimes when I'm like, okay, how do I phrase this differently? Or I don't want to get dinged by the search engines for having the same copy for this product on our website as on Elegant Themes Marketplace. So, you can use ChatGPT for things like, rewriting content and all kinds of different stuff. But I'm going to show you a way to use ChatGPT and a plugin or a extension for Chrome that you just install in Chrome. And this is the AIPRM extension for Chrome. And so basically what that does, let me go back to just default ChatGPT, and you can see how this is just real basic. And you just basically have, the message that you're sending down here. So AIPRM actually installed on top of ChatGPT gives you a whole bunch of these of different prompt options. So if any of you guys want to go look at this, it's AIPRM, or in Chrome, you can go through the extension store and find it and install it. But I'm not going to get super in depth on everything that AIPRM does, but it's very useful. And I'm going to show that to you. So I was just showing you the, kind of just how default GPT, you basically have one area to just enter in a prompt, start a chat. So AIPRM gives you all these different like prompt options here. You've got like keyword strategy. Let's say, you're writing a blog post or something like that. You can use keyword strategy, all kinds of just different things. I mean, I think there's almost 3,000 prompts available in AIPRM. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to search, since we're running our plugin is based off the Stable Diffusion engine. So there's like Midjourney, a few different AI image engines out there that people are tapping into to create tools like we're showing you here. So the library and engine that we're tapping into is Stable Diffusion. So I'm going to go here and just by putting in the word stable, you can see that we've got these prompts in AIPRM and ChatGPT that are showing up. And there's a few different ones. I haven't tested each and every single one. I don't know necessarily at this point which one is better, but you can come in here and kind of look at how many thumbs ups it has, and there's comments you can read through that people have left on here. So I'm going to show you this one first. This seems like a popular one. So this here, this Stable Diffusion prompt based off of your idea. So I don't know. Does anybody want to throw out an idea for a prompt for us to grab and generate an AI image from? Let me see if I can get chats up right now because I'm sharing. Jonathan, are you able to see the chat? Do you see any coming in there? I'm sharing right now, so I think mine's hidden.
I'm not. I do have the chat up, but I'm not seeing any suggestions yet.
Okay. Any suggestions? If not, I'll come up with something random here. But it'd be kind of cool to go off the cuff and just have somebody give us an idea. And it could be kind of anything, and we'll see how it turns out. PG-13. Okay, there's a chat. I can see the chat box now. Fisherman holding a bait. Okay, so this will definitely be probably a challenging one. Just with a fisherman in it and stuff, but we'll see how this comes out. So I'm just going to take that, and you can see down here in the Stable Diffusion prompt based off my idea. I'm just going to put that in there. So this is spitting out a few different prompts here. Okay, so first, let me see what we've got. So this is going to give us like an oil on canvas seascape, and you can kind of see some of these. And these are just generated by the plugin. So this is just giving us based off like a very basic idea that we put in there, and it's elaborating on that. So let me see. We have a prompt 2, fisherman, earthy tones, landscape. style Japanese wood print block. That sounds interesting. Here's a third prompt, fisherman pulling in a big catch, oil on canvas. I'm going to grab, just because this one sounds really interesting, this positive prompt. You can see down here, our plugin doesn't do it. There are some AI image plugins that do. Does ours do negative prompts, Jonathan? Would we just have to put negative?
No, at this point, it doesn't do negative prompts.
It doesn't do negative prompts.
Yeah.
So can you explain real quick what negative prompts are?
Yeah, so some AI plugins or systems let you enter a second prompt that basically is things that the image that should not characterize the image. So those are the things that you don't want the image to include, or ways you don't want the image to look. Ours, you just have to enter everything you want the image to look like in the positive format instead of adding a negative prompt.
Yeah. So you can see here that this has given us a pretty descriptive text here for the image. So I'm just going to copy that. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to show you real quick, just going in through the media library. I know Jonathan was showing you going in through a Divi module. So here we're in our media library, and I'm just going to click generate image with AI, and I'm going to come down here and I'm just going to paste that all in. And when I click add, you'll see that the prompts that are separated, some of the prompts that are separated by commas kind of come out in their own box here. Jonathan was showing you how to put them in like one at a time, kind of. But I'm just going to go ahead. Jonathan, anything different you see that I should be doing here?
Yeah, you'll want to go into the style toggle as well and unselect the default photo option, because this is art and it already has a descriptor in it, what you're wanting to generate. There you go. Yeah. Now you should be good to go.
Okay, so we're just going to leave that. I'm not going to select, because the artist and style and everything's kind of already described in the prompt that I pasted in. So let's hit generate images and see what happens here. So Jonathan, depending on the prompt, if the prompt's more descriptive, is that typically going to take a little bit longer to generate?
No, the generation time should be about the same regardless of how long your prompt is.
Okay. Man, this is cool. So yeah, so you can see based off that prompt that was just given to us from AIPRM and ChatGPT, and it described this Japanese style woodwork painting. This came out just really cool looking. This is like really neat looking. So yeah, so this is kind of a fun tool that helps out, if you're needing an image and just kind of want to practice prompts, and you can kind of see how these prompts are generated and some of the terminology and descriptions that they use. You can see the best quality, masterpiece, realistic, some of the art styles. So really within AI image generation, this is like, the prompting is important, but you can also use some very simple prompts and you'll still get some really nice looking images created. So this is just kind of like another tool for you to use to, help you generate some of those ideas that you might have. So, okay. So that's pretty much what we're covering in this webinar. We wanted to show you, we're just like really proud of the plugin, and the plugin is free. And we will have plans for a premium version of it. Basically, it'll be in essence the same plugin that'll just allow you to, to generate more prompts and stuff and use it more frequently. Obviously server power is everything. Our servers that we're using to drive this technology is where the cost is for us. So, right now we do have some caps on how many images. Jonathan, can you tell us about the caps that we currently have in the free version?
Actually, during the beta period, we don't have any published caps. We do have obviously some internal rate limits to make sure people don't make sure there isn't any automated abuse of the system or anything like that. But we don't have any caps on the number of images you can generate or the number of sites you can connect in the beta period.
Yeah. So, but we will always have a free version of this plugin available. Kind of like our WP Layouts plugin. We've released that for free several years ago, and it's still free. We do have some limits on the number of layouts you can store. But we love releasing these free tools for the community, and yeah, we'd love to hear your feedback once you guys are ready to jump in and start testing this out. Feel free to let us know your feedback, leave reviews on the plugin. If you do have any questions, send us an email and we'll get back to you. So before we end this webinar, I'd like to see if we have any questions or discussion that we'd like to put on the board here. And with this many people on the webinar, if you just want to speak up, and you at this point, you can just use the audio if you want. I see Dave possibly typing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you want, Dave, you can just ask us over audio here.
Yeah, in fact, I have pretty much every single, I'm like a kid entering into a sweet store or a candy store.
Mhm.
Every single plugin there is, I've subscribed for lifetime with all these guys, and I don't know how I missed your product. So
yeah, well, it's fairly new. There are some AI image plugins that have been in the repository for a bit longer, and but we're looking at it, we're getting traction pretty quickly, and we're trying to do that by making the UI very user friendly, beginner friendly, and then of course the plugin and the images that it creates. There's different ways that we're just kind of constantly improving the plugin. So yeah, Dave, okay, yeah, LinkedIn. I don't get on LinkedIn too often, but I'll jump on it after this, and I'll definitely link up with you there. I need to get on it more often.
Yep. Yeah, I would like to definitely get connected. See, the thing is, there is so much out there, and there is so much I can learn, like everyone can learn from others. So this will be a wonderful opportunity, and certainly I would like to get connected with everyone here. So I'll just put my LinkedIn also for everyone, if anyone who is interested in connecting, and we can get to know more.
Okay. I'm going to copy that just to make sure I don't lose it here.
Yeah.
Paste it. Yeah. And I'll, when I get a chance, I'll head on over to LinkedIn.
Awesome. And also, if you can put the link to your website, I will just go ahead and check that out.
Sure.
And see what products you have, and definitely will buy some.
Yeah, we're just wpzone.co.
Okay.
I'll link it in here, and yeah, look at all of our products that we have available. We do have a pretty good amount of free products available on our site and in the repository. And then we have some awesome premium plugins for Divi and WordPress and WooCommerce as well. So
awesome.
Yeah, and if you have any questions, let us know. So, all right. Well, I think unless we have any other questions, that'll probably conclude this webinar. But we hope you guys learned a bit, and we hope you get a chance to play around with some of this technology. So we're super excited about it. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining, and I will be uploading this. It'll be on our Facebook page for wpzone.co, and we'll also have it up on YouTube as well. So if you want to check it out again. So, all right. Well, thank you guys. Thanks for joining us on a Monday, and I hope you have a productive rest of your day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much, David. Actually, I had also forwarded this link to a few other people, and I was surprised to see they didn't log in.
Yeah. And I should say, I'm using David's, I meant to say that in the beginning. I'm using David's Zoom. I'm Cory. I thought I changed the name in the profile. I changed it over to just wpzone.co.
Actually, when you click on the 3 buttons on the top of your window, and you should be able to rename.
Yeah, I thought I had done that, and then it must have switched back over. But yeah, so David was going to join in into the webinar, but he's feeling a little under the weather. So Jonathan and I took the helm, and I'm using David's account because he scheduled the webinar and everything under it. So
perfect.
So all right, well, thank you guys very much, and we'll talk to you soon. All right.
Thank you. See, sometimes people have a tough time. Hey, Dave, how do you pronounce your last name? So I just phonetically spell it out and put it on the chat window. This
Oh,
window.
sure. Okay. Awesome. All right. Yeah. And my name's Cory Jenkins. So when you see that LinkedIn invite come over, that'll be for me.
Wonderful.
So,
Now your name sounds very familiar.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been around WordPress for a long time. So
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much. We'll talk to you soon. All right.
Thank you. Thank you for this wonderful seminar.
Of course. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thanks, Cory.